The golden glow from the limousine's cabin windows did nothing to conceal the coldness that perpetually emanated from Sebastien Vance's face as he stepped off the private jet at Anderlin International Airport. As a top-tier CEO, his life rarely allowed him to slow down, but tonight marked the beginning of a series of important events, the opening ceremony of the Qipao Night collection sponsored by Vance International. Behind the doors of the VIP lounge, Evelina Hu had donned a modernized ivory qipao, its satin fabric hiding exquisitely embroidered peony motifs beneath its sheen. She inhaled deeply, feeling the slight chill of Anderlin's suburban air drifting in on the night breeze. Raised under Parisian lights, Evelina was accustomed to a life of luxury, yet every time she arrived in Anderlin, her heart still fluttered at the city's unique blend of antiquity and modernity. The car halted before a magnificent hall. The plaza outside was adorned with hundreds of pale pink lanterns, each one suspended across the large glass facades, their light reflecting off the polished marble floors. Evelina stepped down onto the pavement, her gaze lingering on the shimmering scene before softening into a smile. This was the perfect setting to unveil her creation, the product of 2 years' worth of passion and effort. Each step along the red carpet was punctuated by the flash of cameras and the murmurs of reporters and guests. Despite the dazzling lights, Evelina remained composed and strong, an elegant fusion of Eastern grace and Western confidence. Amid the crowd, the steely gaze of Sebastien immediately found her. The instant he saw Evelina, he felt as though his heart had stopped. She was not merely a talented fashion designer, she embodied an irresistible, refined elegance. A few months earlier, he had quietly placed an order through her label, arranging for artisans to be flown in from Beijing to embroider the most meticulous details onto the collection. But tonight, seeing her under Anderlin's spotlight made him realize he had embarked on an unshakable destiny. Inside the grand hall, the front rows of seats had been arranged for distinguished guests. Evelina glided past admiration-filled eyes, her excitement mingled with nerves. At the far end of the row, she spotted Oliver Lint, vice president of Vance International, offering her a slight nod of greeting. Memories washed over her of her first press conference in Paris. She had been trembling under the weight of the media, yet Oliver and other organizing members had reassured and encouraged her. Now, Elena, her closest assistant, stood beside her, whispering final instructions on the model's runway order. A prelude of music floated through the hall, a romantic, seamless blend of piano and bamboo flute, conjuring a wistful east-west ambience. As Evelina stepped onto the stage, applause erupted. From backstage, a procession of models emerged, each one clad in a modernized qipao in jewel-toned hues, burgundy, emerald, lavender, every garment decorated with dragon and phoenix motifs or lotus flowers inlaid with pearls. Evelina's heart pounded as she watched their graceful strides, knowing that her hard work was now manifesting into regal splendor under the lights. The guests watched on with admiration and curiosity shining in their eyes. Just as the show was nearing its end, Evelina noticed a tall figure, posture solemn, leaning against a marble column. Nearby, the red carpet trembled slightly beneath the spotlights, accentuating an aura around the guest. Sebastien did not ascend the stage, instead, he observed each stitch with silent intent, his eyes hiding unspoken emotions. Evelina felt the weight of those eyes upon her but dared not look back, so many gazes already focused on her, both on stage and in life. When their eyes finally met, Evelina offered a gentle smile. While Sebastien was momentarily stunned, no one else knew that this woman had captured his entire heart. When the performance ended, the music tapered off, and the hall fell silent as attendees awaited the sponsor's speech. Sebastien strode to the podium, his tall frame standing out in a perfectly tailored black suit. His voice was warm yet distant. "Good evening, everyone. I am Sebastien Vance, representing Vance International. We are honored to support the essence of Eastern culture in this magnificent collection. On behalf of the company, I would like to thank Evelina Hu, whose work elevates the timeless beauty of the qipao. Evelina felt her heart flutter. She saw the sincerity in Sebastien's eyes, a trust she had never known before. Applause thundered through the hall as a large screen behind them displayed a close-up of her graceful face, making her smile as a strange warmth filled her. After the ceremony, when the crowd had dispersed, Evelina was invited to the VIP lounge to receive important partners. She walked down an aisle lined with precious wood and crystal chandeliers that conveyed an air of luxury and mystery. Suddenly, a low voice sounded in her ear, "Congratulations, Evelina." The show was a triumph. She turned to meet Sebastien's sincere gaze. Evelina bowed her head slightly and cleared her throat, "Thank you. I only hope my work resonated as it should." Sebastien nodded respectfully, "I believe that through your talent, Eastern cultural heritage shines brightly. I look forward to the opportunity to collaborate with you, Evelina." Evelina's face brightened with a mixture of excitement and shyness. She was used to empty compliments, but from Sebastien, she sensed genuine consideration and respect. She replied, "I am honored. I hope we can forge a long-term partnership." Sebastien offered a faint smile, his eyes tinged with melancholy determination. "Rest assured, Vance International will always support you, no matter the field." Evelina gazed into his eyes, sensing the hidden sentiment in every word, though she could not fully grasp its depth. Her heart raced. Who would have thought that such a powerful, aloof CEO would show her such special attention? Outside the lounge, the door closed softly behind them as their silhouettes drifted apart in the dim light. Evelina ascended the staircase, quietly carrying a new emotion deep in her chest. She bore not only the responsibility of a designer but also a mysterious destiny with Sebastien Vance. Sebastien watched her retreating back, his gaze more determined than ever. From that moment, a journey began, a fate that would reveal unpredictable mysteries. The next morning, dawn's light streamed through the large curtains of the penthouse atop Vance Tower, casting a gentle glow on Sebastien's rugged yet striking face. He sat at his desk, a thick contract laid out before him, but his mind still lingered on last night's images. He quietly touched the color photograph on his desk, Evelina smiling among a radiant row of models. In his heart, the words "outstanding" could hardly capture her talent and grace. The morning sky over Anderlin was soft and unforced. Evelina, awakened at a boutique hotel near the city center, reflected on every detail of the previous evening: Sebastien's solemn gaze, Vance International's pledge of support, the resounding applause as she bowed to the audience. Still, she could not deny one truth: she now stood in a new world, where every creation, every step, was scrutinized by aristocratic eyes. She rose early to walk around the lake near the hotel, steadying her breath and reminding herself, "I must be strong to live up to everyone's expectations." In the park, a breeze rustled the leaves. Evelina took out her phone and initiated a video call with her mother in Paris. From the screen, Madame Aveline Dupont's worried eyes looked back. "Are you all right, darling? Was the opening successful?" Evelina smiled, but her expression was distant. "Mom, it went wonderfully. But everything here is so new, there's still a lot of pressure." Madame Dupont spoke gently, reassuring her, "Believe in yourself. I've seen you overcome countless obstacles to pursue your passion. I know you will bring a fresh breeze to the world of Qipao." Evelina nodded, inhaling deeply as a surge of emotion welled up. "Thank you, Mom. I'll do my best." When the call ended, Evelina saw a message from Elena: "Sebastien would like to meet you at 10 a.m. at Vance International headquarters. He says there are important matters to discuss regarding the collaboration." A whirlwind of feelings rushed through her: excitement, anticipation, and anxiety. She chose a refined outfit, a black pencil skirt paired with a white blazer, her hair twisted into a high bun to reveal her intelligent forehead. She reminded herself, "If he sees me as a partner, this must bring new opportunities." Yet deep down, she couldn't stop wondering, after his promise of support, what does he truly want from me? At Vance International's gleaming skyscraper in the heart of Anderlin, Evelina was led into an elegant conference room. The space was vast, its glass walls stretching from floor to ceiling, offering a panoramic view of the city caught between dawn's mist and morning light. Sebastien stood beside a long table, dressed in a crisp white shirt and charcoal tie, his slightly tousled black hair falling across his forehead. He gestured for her to sit, his voice retaining that irresistible manner. "Hello, Evelina. Thank you for arriving on time. I want to discuss financial support for a chain of flagship stores in Asia, where you can launch a line of fashion accessories integrated with the AI technology I've been developing." Evelina nodded, her eyes shining. "I'm very excited by that concept. AI can help Qipao wearers choose the perfect size and patterns." Sebastien smiled, a discreet pride in his gaze. "Exactly. I'd like to invite you to be the head of design for this project. You will determine the aesthetic, I'll ensure resources and a global distribution network." Evelina's heart raced. This was a rare chance to merge her core passion with a forward-looking vision. She lifted her head, her eyes resolute. "I accept. I will dedicate myself to taking this project international." Sebastien nodded, his fingers tapping lightly on the tabletop. "I'm glad to hear that. I believe we'll create a new benchmark for Eastern fashion." The meeting continued as Evelina presented in detail. She opened her laptop, displaying sketches and videos illustrating her creative process. Each slide was scrutinized by Sebastien and the senior team, making the room fall silent except for clicking keyboards and mouse clicks. Evelina sensed Sebastien's unwavering support. He did not interrupt, yet his smile during her presentation filled her with confidence. When the meeting concluded, Sebastien stood and approached her, grasping her slim hand firmly. "We will write a new chapter for the Qipao and technology. Thank you for your trust." Evelina returned his smile radiantly, her heart dancing. "I'm so happy. I promise I will not disappoint you." Sebastien inclined his head, indicating farewell, his gaze still lingering, "Until our next session." Evelina walked out of the room, her steps measured as she descended the long corridor, her eyes brimming with hope. She knew a fresh journey awaited, and her exceptional companion was Sebastien Vance. In her mind echoed the words serendipitous destiny. Though the future remained uncertain, this moment would remain etched in her heart as a promising beginning. 3 days had passed since the first meeting, and the AI Qipao project under Evelina's direction was gradually taking shape. The temporary workspace, housed in an old building renovated by Vance International into a studio, featured floor-to-ceiling glass walls that filled the space with natural light. Evelina spent most of her time there, accompanied by Elena, her trusted assistant, and 2 AI engineers seconded by the company. Each morning, she appeared wearing a minimalist qipao, her long black hair cascading down with a slight lift at the roots, creating a fusion of classic and contemporary. In that environment, she felt her creative energy surge. She inspected every stitch and supervised the 3D scanning process so the AI could comprehend the body's curves and, of course, the qipao's graceful silhouette. One afternoon, Evelina received an invitation to a small family gathering at the Hu estate by the river. It was an occasion for her to return home, accept congratulations, and also to seek her parents' counsel before launching the project in the Asian market. The Hu villa sat amid a botanical garden, where birds chirped and peony blossoms bloomed in their full glory. Henry Hu, her father, stood at the gate, his stern face softening in paternal warmth. He gave a small smile when he saw his daughter. "Eve, you're back. Your mother and her old tailor colleagues are waiting for you." Evelina returned his greeting, planting a light kiss on his cheek. "I'm home. The project is about to launch, and I wanted to hear your opinions." Beside them, Madame Aveline Dupont looked elegant in a pastel pink evening gown, her face alight with pride as she watched her daughter. "You make me so proud." Even in Anderlin, Hu fashion's name echoes across Europe. Evelina replied, "I will strive even harder, father, to meet your expectations." The dinner unfolded in a warm atmosphere. The tablecloths were embroidered with dragon and phoenix designs, blended with European classical elegance. Evelina shared her plan for AI Qipao, how to leverage image data so customers could not only choose sizes but also customize patterns to their preferences. Henry, who listened intently, nodding in approval. Madame Dupont suggested, "You should introduce it at a private appreciation event in Shanghai, so they can see its practical application and true creative lineage." Evelina jotted down notes and nodded. "I have considered that. I plan to invite some major artisans." When the moon climbed high in the sky, Evelina left the dining table to the villa's balcony to admire the Seine, a small artificial river winding around the estate. Under the moonlight, the surface sparkled. She took a breath of the cool air, only to startle when she heard familiar footsteps behind her. There stood Sebastien Vance, appearing unexpectedly in a black two-piece suit. He smiled, his eyes still layered with quiet depth. "Hello, Evelina. I intended to come yesterday, but an urgent meeting delayed me." Evelina, slightly surprised, still returned a polite smile. "You came here? But the project is beyond expectations. I've only been focused on getting the first AI Qipao sample done." Sebastien placed a hand lightly on her shoulder, his tone sincere. "I wanted to know how your heart feels before every step. The project is significant, but I also want you to take care of your health. And I'm here to tell you that the company has agreed to support the launch event for the AI Qipao in Shanghai." Evelina felt a pang of joy and emotion. "Thank you. I don't know what to say." Sebastien blinked, offering to steady her. "I only want you to know that whenever you need me, I am here." Evelina lowered her head as the night breeze tousled a few strands of her hair, causing her to shiver. "Thank you so much." In that moonlit hush beside the river, Sebastien looked up at the star-filled sky, then turned back to Evelina. "Do you remember our first meeting at the exhibition?" Evelina's lips curved into a warm smile. "I remember. You sat rigidly in the front row, not smiling, but you congratulated me afterward." Sebastien nodded, pride concealed in his gaze. "At that moment, you shone like a star. I knew I wanted to be entwined with that light for life." Evelina's heart pounded faster, but she spoke calmly. "I appreciate your care and support. But we still have so much work to do." Sebastien gave her a gentle smile. "True. Yet no matter how busy I am, I will always make time for you." Evelina nodded softly, warmth spreading through her. She realized this journey would be long, but at least she was not alone. In the villa's silence, their footsteps gradually faded. Evelina leaned on the marble balustrade, breathing deeply in the night fragrance, thinking, "Everything is just beginning. But with him by my side, I feel brave enough to conquer the world." The night wore on, the breeze continued to blow, and a flush of emotion lingered in her eyes. The road ahead promised challenges, but in Evelina's heart burned a single desire: to transform her technology-infused Qipao dream into reality and to write an unforgettable love story with Sebastien. The next morning, as the sun's first rays slipped through her bedroom window, Evelina suddenly recalled a vague dream. She was wearing a fiery red Qipao, standing amid a lantern festival, holding a lotus fan, her eyes fixed on a stranger. She sat up, rubbing her temples to dispel that half-awake, half-asleep feeling. Ever since arriving in Anderlin, every dream had contained an image of Sebastien. Though he had never existed in her near memory, he now inhabited her subconscious. Evelina messaged Elena, arranging to meet at the studio at 10 o'clock. "I need to urgently discuss the progress of the final sample." Elena replied with a single acknowledgement icon, "Copy." At the studio, Evelina sat at the drafting table, sketching subtle new contour lines for the Qipao. The AI Qipao project was approaching its test scan phase, where clients would be scanned in 3D by handheld devices to capture their measurements. Evelina wanted the first sample to be flawless in every curve. Elena stood beside her, holding her phone with the morning's scan results. "Yesterday, we tested scans on 3 clients. The overall accuracy was 98%, but at a small angle like the right shoulder, the measurement deviated by about 2 centimeters. Evelina furrowed her brow, looking from the sketches to Elena. We need to adjust the shoulder area so the AI can identify it more precisely. Please have Mr. Min from the tech department tweak the algorithm to refine the anchor points. Elena nodded. Contacted him already, he'll come by this afternoon. Evelina placed her hand over her heart and smiled. Thanks. At lunchtime, Evelina retreated to the display room, sitting in a cream-colored leather armchair. She closed her eyes, listening to the soft classical East-West music playing through hidden speakers. The pieces wove together a story of cultural convergence. Suddenly, she remembered her first sight of Sebastien at the press conference. His sad gaze had nonetheless made her feel protected. She wondered, was she worthy of that affection? Evelina smiled softly, peering through the kaleidoscope hanging by the window, her reflection in the ivory Qipao, eyes shimmering with countless ambitions. That afternoon, Mr. Min arrived with his team of technicians, carrying upgraded algorithms and a high-resolution 3D scanning headset. After Evelina carefully explained the scanning angles, the technical team promptly made the necessary adjustments. While they worked, Evelina sat before her laptop, composing an email to partners in Shanghai to announce the launch plan and request collaboration with embroidery artisans. When she turned back, Mr. Min gave a satisfied nod. We've completed the adjustments. The new test sample will be accurate down to the millimeter. AI Qipao will truly stand apart. Evelina beamed, her eyes shining. Excellent. Next time we invite clients to the headquarters, they should feel the craftsmanship the moment they touch it. At that moment, her phone rang, displaying Sebastien Vance. She hesitated briefly, then answered. His voice resonated. Evelina, I have something urgent. I want to see you at the central office to discuss expanding our investment. Evelina glanced at the clock on the wall. Only 5 p.m., early to wrap up. She replied, what is it about? The current project is still in its crucial phase. I'm scheduled to inspect the test sample this evening. Sebastien paused, his tone deepening. I know. But I just received the financial report from Europe. The company is considering deepening investment in e-commerce and wants to integrate the AI Qipao technology further. I want to see you to discuss it in detail before we make a decision. Evelina inhaled slowly before focusing on her answer. I will come. But I want clarity. Does this directly relate to our project, or is it part of a broader strategy? Sebastien gave a short but meaningful reply. Both. I want you to attend tomorrow's board of directors meeting. You will be the sole liaison to help them understand the potential from a design perspective. Evelina nodded. Understood. I'll be there. The call ended, and Evelina placed her phone down, feeling both excitement and tension. She knew the road ahead would not be easy, but that challenge only strengthened her resolve. As the sun dipped behind the skyline, Evelina left the studio and boarded the Silver Staff shuttle. On the way back to her penthouse at Riverside, she watched the winding river reflecting city lights. She unpacked the ivory Qipao and hung it carefully in her closet. Tomorrow she would wear a black Qipao to the meeting. This outfit was more than just attire, it was a signal that the Qipao beauty was ready to break new ground. She smiled softly, her eyes sparkling at the thought of the future. Vance International and Hu Fashion will write a brilliant new chapter together. Yet deep down, she could not shake the image of Sebastien, the man who had kindled her passion and faith. After the important meeting that day, Evelina returned once more to the Vance International office to submit a detailed report. The office was now almost empty, with only a few junior staff sorting through files. Evelina gently pushed open the door to Sebastien's office, where sheer white curtains fluttered in the breeze from the air conditioning. He sat behind a walnut desk, the warm lamplight revealing the lines of his hard-earned features. Before him lay stacks of documents on trade conferences and yearly production reports. As Evelina entered, Sebastien's gaze locked onto her, and he offered a rare smile. Come in. I've reviewed your report, very thorough. Evelina placed the report on his desk, her eyes red from late nights. You finished reading it? I was afraid I missed something. Sebastien closed the folder and lifted a cup of coffee to set it aside. You did an excellent job. But I want to ask you about expanding the AI Qipao line into Europe. Which country do you think we should focus on first? Evelina thought for a moment, then answered, based on my research, the UK and Germany have a tendency to blend nostalgia with modernity. If we introduce techno-fusion couture Qipao there, they would be very interested. I think the UK should be our priority because their East-West cultural integration is quite seamless. Sebastien nodded, pleased, I agree. Tomorrow I'll meet with representatives in London for negotiations. Could you prepare some samples to bring along? Evelina smiled as she pulled a USB drive from her bag. They are ready. You can review them at your convenience. Sebastien accepted the drive, his eyes still following her with a tender look. Thank you. Evelina began to leave, but paused when she heard Sebastien's warm voice. Would you like to join me for dinner? We can discuss further. Evelina turned, her expression hesitant. I have plans with my family tonight. They want to talk about the launch plan. Sebastien's eyes dimmed slightly, yet he maintained his respect. Then tomorrow. Don't worry, I won't interfere with your schedule. Evelina nodded, warmth blossoming in her chest. Thank you. I will try to balance both. She stepped out, graceful yet with her heart throbbing at his quiet devotion. That evening, Evelina dined with the Hu family at their riverside villa. Henry Hu watched his daughter attentively and asked, How is your upcoming project going? Evelina put down her chopsticks, offering a reassuring smile. Everything is progressing smoothly. Mr. Vance appreciated the demo I sent. Tomorrow we meet our London partners. Madame Dupont exchanged a glance with her husband, then affectionately looked at Evelina. We are proud of you. Evelina bowed her head, tears welling from emotion. Her father added, You should be mindful of your health. Mr. Vance seems very concerned for you. Evelina glanced toward the window and was startled. She had just recalled Sebastien's gentle eyes in his office. She smiled softly to herself. Everyone cares about me. I must stay strong. Back at her penthouse, Evelina pushed open the door to the lavish space she shared with Sebastien. Velvet burgundy curtains were drawn, and the gray leather sofa and walnut wood accents gave a sense of warmth, though the room felt quiet and empty without him there. She sat at her vanity mirror and studied her reflection, striving to regain composure. On the table, her phone buzzed with a message from Sebastien Vance. Meet me at 9 a.m. tomorrow at the London headquarters. Evelina smiled and replied, Understood. I'll be there. She exhaled heavily and then turned her gaze to the Seine landscape painting hanging above her bed. In last night's dream, she again saw Sebastien standing beside her under lantern light. She whispered to herself, Perhaps he will never let me go. The following day, Evelina boarded a private jet bound for London's cool, damp air. She entered her partner's office, where warm yellow light highlighted the classic red brick walls. Sebastien was already there. He bowed when she arrived, lightly squeezing her shoulder. Are you tired? You flew overnight, and London's air is chilly. Evelina hugged her blazer tighter and smiled. I'm fine. Let's begin the meeting right away to make the most of our time. The meeting went smoothly. The English partners praised AI Qipao's potential and agreed to order 100 sample Qipaos to showcase at London Fashion Week. Evelina and Sebastien exchanged wide grins. Once everything was finalized, the British partner congratulated them. Congratulations to both of you. I believe AI Qipao will spark a trend. Evelina sincerely thanked them, while Sebastien placed a hand on her back, pride shining in his gaze. Thank you. We will live up to your trust. On the drive back, a light London drizzle began to fall. Evelina and Sebastien shared a single umbrella, walking side by side along the cobblestone street. She nestled close to him, the warmth of his body radiating. Evelina asked softly, Have you ever been to London before? Sebastien shook his head. This is my first time. But with you by my side, I don't need to know the place itself. Evelina looked up at him with longing in her eyes. You rarely say things like that. Sebastien stopped, turning to face her, his eyes filled with quiet sadness. I'm not good with words. All I know is, whenever you appear, the world becomes complete. Evelina felt her heart ache, but managed a faint smile. I feel protected with you. Sebastien lowered the umbrella to cover them both, tilting his head to touch his forehead to hers. I love you, Evelina. Evelina closed her eyes, allowing the drizzle to dampen her hair, basking in his warmth. I love you too. In that intertwined moment, London's night rain no longer felt cold. It was a mark of a budding love that would only grow stronger in the days to come. In the months following their smoothly orchestrated wedding, both Evelina's career and her relationship with Sebastien seemed to sail on calm seas. Evelina continued refining Qipao prototypes for the AI line, becoming increasingly versed in the technology and contributing bold new ideas. In the swirl of work, Sebastien stood by her as her unwavering supporter, even amid his myriad meetings and global deals. However, that seemingly blissful period gradually unveiled hidden challenges. One early autumn morning, Evelina awoke with a dull headache and an unexpected wave of dizziness. Sitting on the edge of the bed, she gazed at a cup of green tea on the nightstand and tried to sip it, only to taste a sudden bitterness. She hastily donned a qipao for a scheduled meeting, but something in her eyes betrayed fear, a sense of dread she couldn't pinpoint. Sebastien escorted her to the conference room, watching her closely. Are you all right? You said you felt tired yesterday but insisted on attending. Evelina swallowed against the discomfort, nodding. It's probably just the pressure. I still want to give this presentation. Sebastien gave a silent sigh but forced a warm smile, encouraging her. Don't worry, I'm here. The meeting proceeded, with Evelina delivering her speech from rote memory, though inside her mind felt hazy and unfocused. Later that afternoon, a health alert flashed on her laptop monitor. Data from her smartwatch indicated excessive levels of methyluminoxane, MAO, toxicity detected. Evelina let out a stifled cry, her trembling hand crushing the pastry she held. She staggered toward the bedroom and collapsed onto the bed. Darkness swallowed her consciousness. When she came to, the room was eerily silent, broken only by the steady beep of a blood pressure monitor beside her. She opened her eyes to find Sebastien's worried face in the dim light. Evelina, can you hear me? For a moment, she thought she was still dreaming, blinking and murmuring, Who are you? Sebastien was struck with heartbreak. She showed no recognition of the husband who had built a life with her, shared countless projects, weddings, and future dreams. Evelina recoiled, clutching herself. What are you doing here? Sebastien straightened the covers around her, his voice gentle. You are at home. I am Sebastien Vance, your husband. Evelina recoiled further, her eyes wild. Husband? I have no husband. Panic caused her to bolt upright, heartbeat pounding. I'm sorry, I must be mistaken. Sebastien's voice wavered as he spoke. You are suffering from a rare condition. The doctor said you've temporarily lost your memory. Evelina's whole body shook, her gaze filled with disbelief. Temporary amnesia? I remember nothing. You are not my husband, stop trying to deceive me. Sebastien's eyes glistened with tears as he whispered, You must believe me. We all love you. I am your husband, and for the past year, I've. Evelina shook her head and turned away, tears spilling down her cheeks. Don't touch me. You're a stranger. She collapsed back onto the pillow, her mind reeling. Sebastien bowed his head beside her, a solitary tear slipping down his cheek. I will never abandon you. In the subsequent days, Evelina left the penthouse, carrying only a small suitcase as she moved into a rented apartment in the suburbs. She refused to see anyone, unwilling to utter Sebastien's name even once. Every memory of their marriage, romantic dinners, professional encouragement, vanished like mist. Meanwhile, Sebastien visited her nightly, bringing food and medication before slipping away before dawn. Sometimes, he slipped a small journal into her mailbox, a diary of their time together, filled with memories of walking by the riverside and laughing beneath moonlight. At first, Evelina tore each page into shreds, but one day she sat and read a small excerpt. "You are the inspiration I cannot live without." Tears welled in her eyes, and in panic, she tore the page into pieces and threw them into the trash. Evelina's life became a cycle of freelance work for minor fashion labels, trying to fill the void in her heart. She often went to a local cafe, sitting for hours sketching before leaving without a word of thanks. Though she tried to hide, her heart still recalled Sebastien's image, this man who had vowed to protect and love her forever. One chilled afternoon, Evelina visited a second-hand bookstore. She wandered its aisles, leafing through tomes on hand embroidery and Qipao history. As she sifted through a book titled Eastern Costume Culture, a photograph slipped from its pages, an image of Evelina and Sebastien at the project's opening ceremony. Her hair gently blowing in the wind, her radiant smile as he gazed at her. Evelina froze, her heart shattering. She did not want to remember, yet memories rushed back in an unstoppable tide. Stunned, she dropped the book and bolted from the store. Outside, the bitter wind seemed to awaken every fiber of her being. She still remembered, despite all attempts to deny it, those images were indelibly etched deep in her soul. Evelina sank into turmoil, terrified yet yearning to uncover the truth. Meanwhile, in Hyde Park, Sebastien spread a velvet blanket on the grass and held their worn journal, staring into the distance. "I will wait for you to come home." A week later, Evelina resolved to return to the penthouse to collect a few necessary items. She entered the home once filled with memories, her steps trembling at every familiar sight: the fine china mug inscribed with "Forever," a wedding gift from Sebastien, the pearl earrings hanging on their hook, the solitary ivory Qipao he had given her at the debut. She slowly made her way through the living room, gazing at the corner sofa where they once curled up to watch movies. Taking a deep breath, she bent to retrieve a photo album. Suddenly, Sebastien's door creaked open. He stood there, exhaustion etched on his face. "Are you planning to stay long?" Evelina recoiled a few steps. "I'm just here to gather my things." You shouldn't be here." Sebastien sighed and stepped forward, placing the album on the table before sitting beside her. "This is the album from our early days of marriage. We've gone through so much together." Evelina shook her head, tears stinging her eyes. "I've forgotten everything. Please don't force me to remember." Sebastien bent forward, voice hoarse. "I'm not forcing you, I only want you to know that I am still here, waiting." Evelina locked eyes with him, voice quivering. "I do not want to stay. Let me leave." Sebastien remained silent, gathering the album and handing it to her. "Take it with you. When you feel ready, open it." Evelina said nothing, accepting it and hastily exiting the room. Sebastien watched her retreating figure, tears gleaming in his eyes. "You will never truly understand the depth of my love for you." The door closed, and the penthouse fell into a yearning silence. With no one at the front desk, Evelina emerged from the building and heaved a sigh as she watched traffic flow along the highway. She hailed a taxi and whispered a suburban address. Her mind replayed fragmented, elusive memories: a man who had loved her fervently, now a stranger. She bit her lip and thought, "I must forget him. I must find myself." At the small apartment, Evelina spread a white sheet over her bed and sat at the edge, hugging her knees. She opened her laptop and typed into the search bar, "How to cope with temporary amnesia." Countless medical articles appeared. She scrolled until one titled "Restoring Memory Through Music and Imagery Therapy" caught her eye. Evelina played a somber classical piece featuring piano and erhu. Memories of herself in the ivory Qipao, and a man in a black suit, surfaced before her eyes. She gasped as Sebastien's face, once lost, suddenly crystallized in her mind. In that moment, memories of their early love flooded back, surging like a spring tide. Trembling and hesitant to believe it, tears streamed down her face. Did he really love me like that? The music continued, her heart pounding with both joy and fear. The path back to the past would be long, but she had found a crucial piece, Sebastien's image etched in her soul. Alone in the dark room, Evelina rose shakily, clutching her chest. I must see him. I must remember everything. Thus began her journey to return to the man who had loved her unconditionally, filled with hope as well as uncertainty. Early the next morning, Evelina awoke with a new determination. She had to face Sebastien to reclaim all the memories that still lingered. She donned a simple black qipao and wore the pearl necklace he had given as a wedding gift. She asked Elena to drive her to the penthouse. Her heart fluttered with turmoil, but her steps remained firm. When the elevator doors opened, Evelina saw Sebastien greeting her in a light gray suit, silver strands flickering in the overhead light. He offered a slight nod as he welcomed her. You've arrived early. Evelina took a steadying breath. I want to look into your eyes. If I still feel what once was, please give me a chance. Sebastien gave a gentle smile, his voice warm. You were wearing the black qipao from our wedding. Evelina nodded through tears. Yes. I want us not to miss this moment. In the living room, autumn's morning sun filtered softly through translucent curtains. Sebastien placed a chair directly opposite her and laid the wedding album on the coffee table. He opened it to the first page, an image of the two of them before a wooden altar, candles flickering during their ceremony. Evelina flipped through each page, each radiant expression, every blessing granted, until she reached the photo of him holding her hand as they walked by the riverside. At the portrait where she looked at him with loving eyes, Evelina couldn't hold back and tears streamed uncontrollably. This. Did I once look at him like this? Sebastien gently nodded, his voice tight. Yes. I loved you from the moment I first met you. Evelina traced her finger along the photo, as if trying to absorb every detail. I recall. I feel a warmth. But why did I lose those memories? Sebastien bowed his head, his shoulders trembling. I'm sorry I was too busy, leaving you alone when your illness struck. Evelina looked at him, suppressing anger. You worked so hard, building the project, while I suffered in solitude. Her eyes were heavy with sadness, yet glimmered with hope. But now I want to come back to you. Sebastien, surprised, fumbled for words before grasping her hand. I am happier than I can express. Will you let me make amends? Evelina blinked and nodded softly. Yes. But you must promise never to let me be alone again. Sebastien bowed his head, pressing his forehead to hers. I promise. Always. 1 month later, Evelina officially resumed her role as head of design for AI Qipao. She and Sebastien were frequently seen together at meetings, moving in seamless harmony. Gradually, memories restored themselves through each project, through moments by the riverside, beside sewing machines, next to prototype garments. The sweet images from their wedding day became imprinted in her heart, along with the belief that love would help them surmount any obstacle. One afternoon, as Evelina tried on the newest pearl-embroidered qipao, Sebastien stood at the doorway watching her with pride. You are always my endless source of inspiration. Evelina turned, her smile radiant. And you are the strength that keeps me standing. He took swift steps to embrace her from behind, pressing his forehead gently against her shoulder. From now on, we will write even more beautiful chapters together. Evelina looked up, eyes shining as she gazed at his face. I believe in our tomorrow. And thus, in the glow of city lights beyond the glass windows, the love story between the Qipao beauty and the aloof, affluent CEO grew stronger than ever, not merely as memories restored, but as faith in a radiant future ahead. A rising undercurrent began when an online tabloid magazine published a sensational article claiming that the AI Qipao project was nothing more than a PR stunt by Vance International, that Evelina, who was merely a designer living off her family's name, and that Sebastien Vance was secretly manipulating everything to use his affection to lure investors. Within hours, baseless rumors and critical comments flooded discussion forums and social media feeds. Evelina read messages from friends. "Are you okay? They are saying you're not talented, just riding on your family's reputation." Her heart clenched at these slanders from anonymous sources. At that moment, Sebastien appeared at her side, resting a gentle hand on her shoulder with a warm but resolute voice. "Don't let these unfounded words hurt you. We will prove our worth with results, not words." Evelina lifted her gaze to him, her eyes still filled with worry. "But the news is spreading so fast, even our European partners are wavering." Sebastien's expression turned serious. "I will meet each party in person and explain everything clearly. You focus on perfecting the sample so everyone can see its true quality." Evelina nodded, feeling warmth in her chest as she saw his unwavering faith in her. They embraced one another in the glow of the penthouse, vowing to protect their project, and their love, at any cost. At Vance International's headquarters, an emergency meeting was convened with the board of directors. The veteran members in the financial sector exchanged thoughtful looks as the CEO responsible for technology delivered his report. "Our competitor, Fantomé, is quietly plotting to acquire our shares while funding anonymous news outlets to sabotage the reputation of the AI Qipao project." Sebastien stepped onto the podium, his tone calm. "We cannot allow hostile forces to extinguish our passion. The AI Qipao project is not only a business opportunity but also a cultural emblem of Eastern heritage integrating with cutting-edge technology. I propose forming a crisis management team immediately to handle the media onslaught and to prepare a legal strategy against Fantomé." Evelina sat nearby, her eyes fixed intently on him. When he finished speaking, she felt her chest swell with determination. "I want to lead the official communications, personally addressing any community concerns." Looking at her with admiration, Sebastien nodded. "I trust your professionalism. First, we will host a public livestream session, inviting technical experts to visually explain how AI Qipao works." The room fell silent, then dozens of eyes lit up with hope. Evelina stood and spoke with conviction. "Let me show everyone that real value isn't in baseless accusations but in the product we create." In that moment, her heart erupted with inspiration. They and Sebastien would face every challenge together. The day of the public livestream was held in a modern auditorium, with a giant LED screen displaying the 3D scanning process on a client and the resulting AI Qipao prototype. Evelina appeared radiant in a red Qipao embroidered with pearls, an iconic symbol of Eastern culture, yet under the lights, the Qipao was presented as a pinnacle of technology. She explained softly, "AI Qipao not only automatically collects precise measurements but also allows customers to customize patterns as they wish, using sensory data to suggest color palettes that harmonize with skin tone and personal style." On stage, a European woman stepped forward and was scanned in 3D in just 30 seconds. The computer immediately processed the data and produced a complete design. When the model tried it on, the audience erupted in applause. From a high corner of the stage, Sebastien watched Evelina with pride. She is not only a talented designer but also the soul of this project. After the demonstration, a series of technology experts and media representatives were invited on stage to verify the operational process. Each tense question was answered meticulously. Evelina remained composed, her gaze unwavering. "We have undergone independent accuracy verification, and our technology's patent is registered in both the United States and Europe." When the live stream concluded, Evelina and Sebastien stepped onto the stage together, receiving rapturous applause. Fantomé could no longer deny the project's value, and the baseless rumors gradually faded into the past. In that moment, Evelina turned to meet Sebastien's eyes and saw him press his lips together in a subtle nod. Together, they had overcome their first trial. Confetti and balloons rained down during the AI Qipao launch at London Fashion Week. Evelina stood at the side of the runway wearing a dual-tone metallic Qipao, black on one side, white on the other, microphone in hand, her eyes shining as the MC introduced her. We are honored to welcome Evelina Hu, the soul of the AI Qipao project, who has perfectly combined Eastern artisanal tradition with artificial intelligence. Each step taken by the models on the glittering catwalk told a story through Evelina's designs, Qipaos woven with metallic thread, three-dimensional dragon and phoenix prints, diamond-patterned lace accents. The VIP guests showered them with non-stop praise. When the show concluded, Evelina and Sebastien appeared together in the crowd to receive a bouquet of fresh flowers. Under the lenses of international reporters, Sebastien gently pulled her into his arms and whispered, "You've made history." Evelina mustered a warm smile. "This is only the beginning." Behind them, the words Lily Hearts, the alternate name for the AI Qipao line, flared across the backdrop, reflecting the flash of cameras. They raised their champagne flutes in celebration. The harsh days of rumors, legal battles, and rival threats were behind them. Now was the moment to share the sweet fruits of their labor together. 1 year had passed since their triumphant success in London. Evelina and Sebastien were not only husband and wife but also perfect business partners. The Lily Hearts line was now available in Asian and European markets and was preparing to launch in the United States. On the penthouse rooftop, bathed in the shimmering lights of Anderlin City, they held their 2-year wedding anniversary celebration. Evelina wore a white qipao with silver accents, cradling a bouquet of purple orchids, the flower Sebastien knew she loved most. Standing beside her, Sebastien was dressed in a bespoke black suit, his smile earnest yet slightly shy. "Today, we mark 2 years of our journey together. I want to thank you for weathering the storms with me so we can stand here now." Evelina gently grasped his hand, her eyes glistening. "Thank you for never abandoning me, even when I lost my memory. You showed me that true love can heal any wound." The guests erupted in warm applause as they exchanged loving gazes. In that moment, all painful memories melted away, leaving just 2 hearts beating in unison. After the party ended, Evelina and Sebastien stepped onto the balcony to admire the brilliant night sky. A gentle breeze carried the scent of orchids mingled with the city's aroma. Evelina leaned against his shoulder, her voice a soft whisper, "I have a secret I haven't shared yet." Instantly, Sebastien turned and wrapped his arms around her. "What secret is that?" Evelina smiled, her eyes sparkling. "I've prepared a special qipao design to commemorate our 2-year anniversary. I want to give it to you." Sebastien raised his brow with curiosity before breaking into a fulfilled smile. "You always know how to surprise me." Evelina pulled a small black box from her purse and opened it to reveal a tiny photo of 2 children, a boy and a girl, each wearing miniature qipaos, holding hands with bright smiles. Sebastien studied the image, then exploded with joy. You want us to have children?" Evelina nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "I want our family to be complete forever." Sebastien's breath caught in his throat. He took her hand and pressed a gentle kiss to the back of it. "I promise to give you and our family everything possible." Evelina offered a tearful smile as she rested her head against his chest. In the glow of the soft lights, they lost themselves in boundless happiness, believing that no matter what trials the future might bring, as long as they were together, they would always triumph. This winter, light snow danced on the rooftop of the penthouse while Evelina carried a warmth in her heart like never before. She and Sebastien had just received the ultrasound results. The moment the doctor announced, "Congratulations, your family will soon welcome a little angel," the entire room seemed to sway with boundless joy. Evelina stared at the blurry image on the screen, her hand trembling as she placed it over her belly, feeling the gentle warmth radiate through her body. Beside her, Sebastien stood, with tears in his eyes and a shyness he had never shown in the ruthless boardrooms. He quickly wiped away a tear. "I cannot believe I'm going to be a father." Evelina smiled and leaned her head on his shoulder. "Me neither. We're going to be parents." In that moment, all the project pressures, rumors, and business stress melted away. Only the 2 of them remained, filled with hope for the future. The following month was a series of days spent adjusting to their joyful news, and Evelina also began cutting back on strenuous work. She met with the technical team and shifted into an advisory role on the project, still maintaining her leadership presence, but no longer commuting to the office daily. Every morning, she found Sebastien's affectionate gaze as he greeted her with a steaming cup of coffee and a printed market report. Evelina still sat at her small desk in the living room, video calling Elena to supervise design work. As her steps grew heavier, she would pause in the hallway, gently rubbing her belly to feel the subtle fluttering within. She reminded herself, I must stay healthy so our baby can be safe. Through it all, Sebastien was always nearby, picking her up each evening to take her to a small riverside hotel, the peaceful haven she chose to rest and nurture her pregnancy. Just as the Melodic Hearts project was expanding into the U.S. market, an unexpected crisis arose. Fantôme, an adversary furious at their London defeat, launched an aggressive campaign against fashion technology. Major partners in America began questioning the legality of the patent and spreading rumors that infrared scanning technology might be unsafe for expectant mothers. Evelina lay semi-awake in their hotel room, bowing to listen to the tender heartbeat of her unborn child. Her heart tightened. Was this the sign of a new challenge? As worry gnawed at her, Sebastien's urgent call came through. I've received an emergency summons from the board of directors. They say if we can't resolve this public relations issue, the U.S. project will be suspended. Are you all right? Evelina clenched her teeth, tired but resolute. I'll stand by you, Sebastien. Just give me the chance to present persuasive evidence. The call ended, and she gripped her belly tightly, silently passing her determination to the little angel inside. To counter the wave of doubt, Evelina and the communications team organized a large-scale online seminar, inviting a pediatric specialist, a biomedical engineering expert, and the AI programming group to participate. That morning, despite the blizzard blanketing the neighborhood in white, hundreds of social media accounts tuned into the live stream. Evelina appeared on screen with a radiant face. Behind her hung two banners: safety, quality, future, and an image of a happy family. She straightforwardly presented legal certifications and explained that the scanning process used only low wavelengths, posing no risk to the fetus or human cells. A pediatrician from Boston joined via video call and confirmed, there's no evidence that this technology harms mother or baby. Tense questions from the audience were raised and answered thoroughly. Sebastien sat beside the camera, quietly listening to his wife's presentation, his eyes shining with pride. When the seminar concluded, Evelina gently wiped her brow, exhaling, "Thank you all for your trust. We are fully committed to customer safety, especially for pregnant mothers." Social media support surged, and the criticism quickly died down. Evelina knew that this effort not only protected the project but also safeguarded the future of the little life growing inside her. 3 months later, Evelina entered her next ultrasound appointment with a beaming face as the doctor announced, "You are expecting 2, 1 boy and 1 girl. It's twins." The news left her stunned and utterly joyful. As she watched the black and white screen, the 2 tiny bodies lay side by side, fluttering with each heartbeat of their mother, tears streaming down her cheeks. Sebastien stood behind her, his eyes also brimming with tears, pressing a gentle kiss to her cheek. "I never imagined I could be this happy." Evelina leaned against his chest, voice choked. "We'll have to prepare everything twice as carefully, because it's not just 1 life but 2. Outside the window, snow continued to fall in soft January gusts, cold to the bone, yet within their hearts, an eternal warmth glowed. By spring, Evelina was 6 months into her pregnancy. Despite her growing belly, she did not miss any partner meetings or cultural celebrations. They decided to host a fusion couture gala right in the penthouse, bringing together high society, the press, and international designers. Evelina wore a jade green qipao adorned with golden lotus motifs. The waistband was expertly tailored to showcase her baby bump while remaining elegant. As she stepped onto the small stage to deliver her speech, Sebastien's eyes followed her every graceful move. While Evelina spoke of inspiration and the project's future, dozens of phones rose to record her. When she finished, applause thundered through the room, swelling her pride. Many guests came forward to congratulate her, among them, a charity for children with disabilities expressed interest in collaborating with Melodic Hearts to develop technologically assisted garments for children with cerebral palsy. Evelina turned to Sebastien, her eyes shining. See? Our mission isn't just fashion but social responsibility. Sebastien smiled and gently squeezed her hand. I'm proud of you. As a soft orchestra played in the background, they embarked on a new chapter, one not just for their family but for the broader community. Arriving at Anderlin International Hospital, Evelina felt each breath fill her with both excitement and anticipation. Today was her expected due date, though the doctor had warned she might need to be induced early because of the twins. In the waiting room, Sebastien sat beside her, gently stroking her long hair, his gaze following the outside breeze through the window. Evelina gave a light smile despite her first contraction. You're not worried, are you? Sebastien gripped her hand firmly, his voice a whisper. I'm excited and proud. I never imagined I would be the father of two angels. His eyes glowed with tenderness, tinged with anxiety. But if anything happens, promise me you'll let me know right away. Evelina nodded. Pain tinted her eyes but they still shone. Don't worry. I'll fight for our little ones. When the doctor prepared to take her into the operating room, Evelina looked at Sebastien one final time, her eyes full of trust. Hold my hand tight. 2 hours later, the world fell into a hush. In the recovery room, the newborn twins' cries echoed like heaven's call. The doctor approached with joyful news. They are a boy and a girl, both healthy. Mom did amazingly. Sebastien wept openly, his face wet with tears as he heard his children's cries. Evelina, exhausted but ecstatic, brushed sweat from her brow and smiled. They're perfect? The doctor grinned softly. Both babies have good birth weights and are very healthy. Congratulations to both of you. As she caught a faint glimpse of her newborn angels, all anxieties and pressures vanished. They truly had a complete family. 2 weeks later, Evelina and Sebastien returned home after being discharged. The penthouse was festooned with pastel balloons and soft curtains. On the coffee table stood framed photos of their newborns, beneath a pair of dove figurines, a gift from Sebastien's parents. Evelina placed the photos gently on the table and looked at Sebastien. Do you think we're ready? Sebastien nodded softly, stroking her hair. I've learned how to care for you through your pregnancy, and now I'll learn how to be a dad. Evelina smiled, leaning into him. Life isn't just about the project and work anymore, it's about nights spent caring for our children. Sebastien replied with a gentle laugh. I won't complain. For these two angels, I'll do anything. The penthouse felt even warmer now. Every corner reminded them of childhood, from the cream-colored crib to the tiny rack of miniature Qipao. In that peaceful moment, they knew that together, they had built a hopeful home. Work at Vance International and Melodic Hearts continued, but Evelina officially paused all design activities to devote her time entirely to family. She and Sebastien rented a small riverside villa, a space large enough for 2 baby carriages and to create a garden corner where they could nurture plants, an interest both of them shared. Each morning, while he took the twins outside, she brewed lavender tea and sat reading parenting books. Evelina felt deeply content witnessing her husband's gentle care. He changed diapers, held and soothed the babies, softly singing lullabies in his warm voice. Such moments reinforced her belief that leaving the lofty penthouse for a modest home was the right choice. One afternoon, Hari, Sebastien's sister, arrived with her husband and their 2 children, adding warmth and laughter to the household. The sound of children playing mixed with mothers singing lullabies on the porch, creating an atmosphere of genuine coziness. Evelina looked at Hari tenderly caring for the twins. Akira was so active as a child. He'll be a wonderful friend for our little ones. Hari smiled gently. Evelina, you've managed everything so well. I truly admire you. Evelina glanced around and saw her husband playing with their children. Her heart swelled. Thanks to him, I've discovered the true meaning of family. From a distance, Sebastien caught her eye and offered a contented smile. I just wanted to give you and the children a peaceful childhood. Evelina nodded in her heart, and you succeeded. Autumn returned as their twins turned 1 year old. Vance International hosted the first Fusion Couture Cultural Festival in Anderlin City, but this time Evelina was merely a guest of honor. She appeared beside the Lily Hearts exhibition booth, displaying framed photos of her children alongside a miniature Qipao. Under the golden lights, attendees lingered to admire the AI effect on each garment. A long line formed as a doctor and a technical specialist explained how their technology melded with craftsmanship. Evelina stood silently, her heart overflowing with pride for everything she and Sebastien had built. When the ceremony concluded, she took the stage with a microphone and spoke. Lily Hearts is not just a technology fashion project but a dream of a world where every individual, no matter how small, can express their identity. The community's support is what drives us to continue innovating. Thunderous applause followed her words. She beamed with satisfaction. Among the audience, Sebastien watched his wife with affectionate tears in his eyes. I saw Evelina as a fresh graduate, and today, she inspires the whole world. After the crowd dispersed, he approached her and placed a hand on her shoulder. I'm so proud of you. Evelina met his gaze, tears sliding down her cheeks, and I will always love you. In that moment, their two souls were as one, despite all they had endured, illness, memory loss, and professional storms. From that place of love, a new world unfurled, not just for them, but for the life journey of their two little angels, where love and creativity would never cease. Summer arrived brilliantly, sunlight filtering through the trees along the road leading to their small riverside villa. The twins walked hand in hand, the little boy tapping his foot on the floorboards as his baby sister giggled. Evelina stood by the doorway, watching that scene with a blissful gaze. Beside her, Sebastien whispered in her ear, "Our life is complete now." Evelina smiled and clasped his hand. Yes. We really have become a family. In the breezy space, the children's laughter mingled with birdsong, and they knew that no matter what storms arose, this home would always be a steadfast refuge. From this moment forward, the Vance Hu family would continue writing new chapters, guided by love, responsibility, and unending dreams. After the two little angels turned 2 years old, family life became even more peaceful. Every morning, Evelina took the twins into the small flower garden behind the villa, where she and Sebastien had personally planted lavender, peonies, and climbing roses. The children delightedly ran around the rose bushes, picking fallen petals and bringing them to their mother's nose, their faces blossoming with innocent smiles. Evelina sat in an armchair, watching them, her heart brimming with gentle happiness. They are not even walking properly yet, and already they're captivated by roses. Beside her, Sebastien sipped chamomile tea and smiled at his wife. We truly have created a peaceful world for them. Evelina touched his hand lightly. It's all because you never gave up on me, even when I lost my memory. Sebastien nodded silently, a new idea blossoming in his mind. The success of Lily Hearts combined with their journey as parents had shown him that many other families needed support. That afternoon, he proposed that Evelina and he spend time creating a scholarship foundation for children with hearing impairments, combining Vance's hearing assist technology with Lily Heart's soft fashion design to help these children integrate into society. Evelina's eyes shone. That will be our legacy in action. Under the purple lavender blooms, the two of them recorded their ideas, further strengthening the bond for the journey ahead. The following year, when their elder daughter had learned to say a few words, the Melodic Hearts Scholarship Fund officially launched at an international charity conference in Monaco. Evelina stood on the stage with the sunset's golden glow behind her, and a logo featuring a heart-shaped musical note projected on the screen. She shared, Melodic Hearts will provide cochlear implants combined with sound-sensing scarves developed by Lily Hearts, allowing children with hearing impairments not only to hear their first melodies but also to feel the music through fashion-driven vibrations. The audience fell silent, then erupted into applause. The fund received pledges of sponsorship from numerous leading educational and medical organizations. In the front row, Sebastien looked at his wife with unabashed pride. "You have turned love and creativity into meaningful social action." Evelina took his hand and smiled. "I want our children to grow up in a better world." After the ceremony, they strolled along the Monaco marina, the gentle breeze ruffling the water's surface and reflecting the silvery moonlight. Evelina whispered to herself, "The river of my childhood memories has now become the vibrant heartbeat of loving souls." Sebastien put his arm around her, silent in his belief that their love would continue to spread. Time flew by. When their twins reached age 4, the Vance Hu family once again faced a new milestone. Evelina was preparing for her solo exhibition, Fusion Harmony, in Berlin. The exhibition featured award-winning Qipaos from Lily Hearts, augmented by augmented reality, light projections so visitors could interact directly with the patterns and fabrics. On opening day, Evelina wore a 5-colored qipao inspired by orchid petals. The skirt panel contained motion sensors that made the designs come alive as she moved. Under the gallery lights, she glided past her past works, hearing her children call softly, "Mom, look at that qipao." The twins, led by their father, arrived wide-eyed and applauding. Evelina knelt to stroke her child's cheek. "That was a qipao I designed before you even knew how to speak." Beside her, Sebastien cheerfully lifted their son high. "Our family's future will be even more magical." Visitors streamed in, and fashion enthusiasts praised Fusion Harmony as a masterful blend of tradition and the future. When the exhibition ended, Evelina and her family left the gallery and wandered through Berlin's Old Town, where maple leaves were changing colors. She looked up at the crisp autumn sky and smiled, saying, "In life, as long as there is love and a desire to innovate, our dreams will always shine." And in the bustling heart of Europe, the two little ones held their parents' hands, continuing their journey of nurturing love and launching shared dreams that would never cease.